Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Dominick from the Comic Book Report YouTube channel over here doing another guest review for organicpricedbooks.com. And today we're going to be looking at another Silver Age Marvel Omnibus. This time we're checking out the Avengers Omnibus Volume 2. Before we dive into today's overview though, I do want to share a couple quick facts about today's collection. The issues in this volume were written primarily by Stan Lee and Roy Thomas, and illustrated primarily by Don Heck and John Buscema. The comics in this volume were first published by Marvel Comics beginning in 1966. As far as the contents go, this volume includes the Avengers issues 31 through 58 and annual issues 1 and 2, along with X-Men issue 45 and Not Brand Ek issues 5 and 8. And this is an oversized hardcover collection with nice glossy print paper stock, a sewn binding, and a total of 848 pages. Looking at the collection itself, I will say that this is the direct market or DM cover for this omnibus. I'll throw up a quick thumbnail of the standard edition cover for the omnibus so you can compare. I believe that's done by Alex Ross versus this is taken directly from one of the covers of one of the issues. Other than that, there is a difference in the picture window for the spine. You'll see the spine here for the direct market, and you'll actually see what the standard edition looks like when I examine the Under the Dust Jacket hardback book itself. Speaking of that spine, you'll notice that this reprint has the newer Silver Age Marvel spines with the smaller print and that little picture window. This picture window, of course, for the DM cover has the Vision, which I really love seeing, a really nice touch here. And yes, this is the Avengers Omnibus Volume 2. As we transition to the back, where we'll see a lot of the thumbnailed issue covers for this collection, I did want to note that for whatever reason, the Not Brand Ek issues are not included on the back cover of the Dust Jacket. We don't see their thumbnails, we don't see them included in the issue listing for whatever reason, but they are, rest assured, in the table of contents in this book, and they're included at the back of that omnibus before all the extras. Not sure why it was left off the back of the book, but I did want to note that they are included here. I don't know if it's the full issue or just large portions of it, but they are in this book. As far as the Dust Jacket goes though, this is a really beautiful Silver Age omnibus cover. And to that end, we're going to be looking at the Dust Jacket one final time, this time also examining the interior flaps and just spreading it all out so you can get everything at a glance. Like I said, it's pretty standard Silver Age Marvel fare as far as the Dust Jacket is concerned. When we look at the Under the Dust Jacket artwork or the actual hardback itself and what we have printed on it, it's also pretty standard for a lot of these modern Silver Age Marvel omnibuses. We have a nice Avengers logo. We do have the spine reproduced as well. This will actually show you what the standard edition spine looked like at the little picture window down there. You'll notice it's not the Vision like we see on this DM Dust Jacket. And the back of this book has a nice big Avengers A. Really dig the design. There's that A. I'll go ahead and spread it all out so you can see everything at a glance, like I said, one final time. And then after that, we'll go ahead and transition to the binding of this omnibus. I will say right from the jump, I thought this was very well bound. You know, it's an 800-page collection. It's not a gigantic omnibus. I think that this is a great page size to have a really just easy reading experience. And we also don't have a ton lost to the gutter. You know, this is at a time where we have a nice white margin bordered around all the art. So gutter loss just really feels like less of a factor here. I, for one, had no complaints about the binding. Really pleased with what Marvel put out here. Another great omnibus. And now that we've examined the exteriors and taken a look at that binding, we can jump into the collection proper for this quick overview. I will generally try to avoid spoilers, even though these stories are going on, 60 years old now. Anyway, jumping into this collection, we have a nice kind of end page, the title page, publication information, and we jump into a great table of contents. All of the issues are titled and indexed, page numbered, and we do have the inclusion of those Not Brand Ek issues like I mentioned earlier. And then we're off to the races. We do have the introductions from the writers throughout this book. Every maybe 10 issues, give or take, we have those introductions, I think mostly by Roy Thomas in this volume. These introductions are, I believe, taken from the Marvel Masterworks hardcover collections, collecting, again, those 10 issues or so of the Avengers. I love that we have them reproduced here. They're a great way to jump into the next handful of issues, and they punctuate the collection really nicely. With this Silver Age Omnibus as well, we have a lot of great letters pages included at the backs of the issues where appropriate. I do skim these sections, the letter pages. They're really great. They're fun little time capsules. I love to see kind of the dialogue between the readers and the creators and seeing how they inspire one another. Overall, I'm really happy they include that in these omnibuses. And other than that, this is pretty straightforward. We jump in right after the contents of Volume 1 of the Avengers, and we just go chronologically through the Avengers issues. We do have kind of a crossover with X-Men, so you do get an X-Men issue in here, along with 2 annuals, which I just really loved. I thought that those really brought up this collection to the next level. Really, really fun stories in both of those. They're all like double-sized issues, those annuals. And like I said, we have the Not Brand Ek toward the very back of this book. Those are kind of like lampooning parody issues. They're really short. They're kind of goofy. They're more news strip, cartoony in many ways, but they're fun that they're here. And then we have a good handful of collections at the back of the book, including kind of outlines from a lot of the drawings, a lot of the reproduced covers for some of the reprints, things like that. But I'll get into that toward the end of the video. Something novel about this Avengers run, especially early on here, is that the Avengers is a team book that has a revolving roster. What I mean is if you achieved Avenger status and you don't do anything to get kicked off, you kind of always have access to this team, whether or not you're active duty or kind of just in the wings. So what I mean is initially the Avengers was, like Thor and Iron Man, Ant-Man, the Wasp, kind of the Hulk. Then Captain America shows up. And then we have all these changes of the guards, so to speak. Large portions of this volume, for example, have Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. We have Pietro, Quicksilver, Hawkeye, Captain America. We have the appearance of Hercules in the Marvel Universe. He kind of joins up with the Avengers in this run. Toward the end of this omnibus, we even have the introduction of the Vision, which is super fun. We have Black Panther joining. We have Ant-Man and Goliath. We have some Avengers leaving the book, some coming and going in different ways. We have appearances by some of those other earlier Avengers and things like the annuals. But because of these kind of team shifts we have throughout this book, I actually find this to be one of the most striking Silver Age titles available. I think that Silver Age writing can sometimes be a little bit slower going, especially for modern audiences. There is more of a focus on the dialogue or exposition, kind of the written word of the comic books, as opposed to a lot of modern comics, which I feel like in general are more art-centric. We have a lot more splash pages, a lot less writing. Again, kind of broad strokes, generalities. But for a Silver Age book in this era, I do think that this moves fairly swiftly. I think it kind of reserves that sense of momentum. And I think it's because we have an ensemble cast of characters that is always shifting. So we have a lot of just inherent character dynamics here that keep things very fresh. And honestly, I think that all of the characters are really well balanced. So by the time we get to these characters once or twice in an issue, the issue is already over. I don't feel like it's rushed, but I don't feel like I've just been stuck with one character and 1,000 word balloons only for this one character for 28 pages. No, I feel like we get to juggle between a lot of great heroes, a couple of villains, things like that. I will say as well, the writing feels kind of episodic overall. A lot of the storylines are resolved in 1 to 2 issues max, I would say. There are some kind of overhanging plot threads and with a lot of the character dynamics, but we don't have, again, that modern sensibility of, okay, I'm going to spend 50 issues doing this one master storyline. No, everything feels much more episodic, and because of that, we have so many different individual adventures in this book, too many to name, and none that I really want to spoil for the most part. Some of my highlights, though, do include like the introduction of Hercules. I thought that was a really fun first appearance. Love the annuals we get in this collection. I won't go into it too much, but one of them may or may not introduce kind of time travel mechanics. Really, really a fun one there. I also really love the issue or two that had to deal with Ultron and the Vision. Really, really striking, and that kind of rounded out toward the end of the collection. But overall, we have a lot of great stuff here. Another notable feature about this omnibus is that we have the end of Stan Lee's kind of initial run on the Avengers, and we have Roy Thomas taking the helm. I believe he wrote something like 70 issues in a row, so buckle up. He's going to be the mainstay Avengers writer for quite some time. For art, we have a lot of Don Heck, but really we have the majority of John Buscema as far as the artist in this book goes, Big John. And honestly, I really like the character design here. I really like the kind of sense of motion and the scope we have of this world that Buscema really adds to this book. Really, really fun stuff here. And speaking of the artists, we have made our way to the back of the book and kind of the extras I mentioned earlier in the video. There is a wealth of extras or kind of bonus features at the back of this omnibus that I love to see. We have some great kind of pencil work, inked pages, outlines. We have, again, the reproduced covers when these issues were reprinted. Maybe the covers of some of the big collections that initially collected a lot of these handfuls of early Avengers issues. Really just love to see it. A lot of great art. I think for art fans out there, the extras will be particularly illuminating or gratifying gratifying. But overall, I just think it was a really strong collection. It padded out this book really nicely. But again, this was a fun one. I really enjoyed going through this. At the time of the recording, Marvel did reprint volumes 1 through 4 of this Silver Age Avengers Omnibus collection here, and they released for the first time Avengers Volume 5. So if you're watching this, you might still be able to catch these while they're still in print. Of course, if you want your copy, please first check out organicpricedbooks.com. You can even use my code at checkout, TheComicBookReport, to save $2 off of your order. Please note if you use my affiliate code, I will earn a small commission. But yeah, if you're interested, if this looks good to you, definitely check it out. Try to find them while they're still in print. If you'd like a fuller review of this omnibus, you can stop by my channel in the coming weeks. That is The Comic Book Report. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This was a really fun one to do an overview for. Hoping to do more on the subsequent volumes here in the future. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.